Welcome back to Echo Report, bringing you the latest news from around the world. Oil is the lifeblood of our modern world, powering vehicles, lighting homes, and fueling factories. Every day, colossal supertankers carry this vital resource across oceans, connecting oil-rich nations to energy-hungry economies. These tankers navigate critical choke points like the Strait of Hormuz and the Strait of Malacca, making global trade possible. Billions of barrels move each year, but this system is surprisingly fragile. Storms, disputes, or blockages can disrupt everything. The price you pay at the pump is tied directly to the safe arrival of these tankers. For decades, oil flowed based on supply and demand, but that's changing. Now politics is redrawing the map of who sells oil to whom. Countries are asking, who are our friends and who are our rivals? The routes these tankers take are now shaped by alliances and rivalries, not just economics. The future of global power is being charted on the high seas. China, the world's manufacturing powerhouse, has an insatiable appetite for energy. Every day, its factories, cities, and growing population demand more power to keep the economic engine running at full speed. This relentless need for energy is at the heart of China's rise as a global superpower. Its domestic oil fields can't meet demand, making China the largest importer of crude oil. Despite significant investments in domestic production, the gap between what China produces and what it consumes continues to widen. To avoid over-reliance on any one source, China has built a global web of suppliers, buying from the Middle East, Africa, South America, and until recently, the US. This diversification is a deliberate strategy to ensure that no single disruption can halt the flow of oil. This isn't just about buying oil, it's about forging long-term contracts, investing in foreign oil fields, and building pipelines from Russia. China's energy companies are now major players on the world stage, securing resources far beyond their borders. These moves bypass risky sea routes and reduce vulnerability to foreign pressure. By investing in overland pipelines and alternative routes, China is working to shield itself from potential blockades or geopolitical tensions. China's strategy is about more than economics. It's about building alliances and securing loyalty. Energy deals often come with infrastructure projects, loans, and diplomatic support, deepening ties with supplier nations. Energy security means no single country can threaten China's economy. The government sees reliable access to oil as a matter of national survival and long-term prosperity. That's why China deepens ties with Russia, Iran, and Venezuela, even if it means defying the West. These relationships are carefully cultivated, often in the face of international criticism or sanctions. Every barrel flowing to China is a move in a global chess game. Each shipment strengthens China's position and weakens the leverage of its rivals. For Beijing, oil is not just fuel, it's leverage, influence, and power. Control over energy supplies means control over the future. The quest for energy security shapes China's foreign policy. It drives investments, trade agreements, and even military strategy as China seeks to protect its interests abroad. The stakes are nothing less than global influence. In the race for energy, China is determined to secure its place at the top. The idea that oil markets are purely commercial is a myth. Politics has always shaped the flow of oil. Governments use energy as a tool of foreign policy. Oil embargoes, sanctions, and strategic alliances have long influenced who buys and sells. Today, the rise of China and the US shale boom have made oil trade even more political. Deals are now about long-term relationships and political alignment, not just price. Countries may pay more to buy from allies or offer discounts to cement partnerships. Every tanker's route is a political statement, decided in government ministries, not just boardrooms. The invisible hand of the market is giving way to the visible hand of the state. Oil is now a weapon in global power struggles. In the summer of 2025, China stunned the world by ordering its state oil companies to halt all US crude purchases, a move that sent shockwaves through global energy markets and diplomatic circles alike. Tankers scheduled to load in Texas and Louisiana were canceled overnight, leaving American ports eerily quiet and oil traders scrambling for answers. This wasn't about price, US oil was still competitive on the world stage, but about politics and power, a calculated response to growing tensions. Tensions with the US had been rising for months over trade, technology, and global influence, with both sides unwilling to back down. By cutting off American oil, China sent a clear message to Washington and the world. It wouldn't be pressured, bullied, or held hostage by foreign energy supplies. Beijing acted preemptively, showing it could survive without US energy, and that it had prepared for this moment by diversifying its sources. The move highlighted China's resilience and its vast network of alternative suppliers, from the Middle East to Africa and beyond. It was a declaration of economic independence and a bold geopolitical statement signaling that China was ready to defend its interests on the world stage. The timing was strategic, just days before the US imposed new tariffs on India for buying Russian oil, adding another layer to the global energy chessboard. China's action shifted the focus, reinforcing its alignment with Russia and signaling a new era of energy alliances that could reshape global markets. The decision wasn't about the price of oil, but the price of sovereignty. China was willing to pay more to maintain control over its destiny. In a divided world, energy is no longer just a commodity. It's a tool of power, leverage, and national pride. With this bold move, China made it clear it would chart its own course no matter the cost, and the world would have to take notice. China's sudden halt sent shockwaves through the US oil industry, disrupting a trade relationship that had grown steadily over the years and leaving American exporters scrambling for alternatives. American producers lost a major customer overnight, causing a glut and a sharp drop in US oil prices. Storage tanks filled up rapidly, and the industry was left with more oil than it could sell. Companies faced production cuts and job losses. Entire communities dependent on oil felt the impact, as layoffs rippled through local economies and uncertainty grew. China, meanwhile, turned to Russia, the Middle East, and Africa to fill the gap. Its diversification strategy paid off, ensuring a steady flow of crude despite the sudden shift. For Chinese consumers, the impact was minimal. The state absorbed higher costs, shielding households and businesses from price shocks and keeping daily life stable. Globally, the oil market fractured. US oil prices fell, but international prices rose as China competed for non-US barrels. The world's oil flows were suddenly rerouted, and traders scrambled to adapt. The once unified global market split in two, with new trade routes emerging and old alliances tested by shifting supply and demand. Countries relying on international crude saw energy costs climb, hitting households and businesses from Europe to India. Rising prices strained budgets and forced many to make tough choices. The decisions in Beijing and Washington now directly affect wallets in Mumbai and Manchester, tying distant cities together in a web of economic consequences. The era of a single global oil price is over. Markets are now fragmented, and volatility is the new normal. Oil is now priced by politics as much as by supply and demand, with every diplomatic move or trade dispute sending ripples through the market. A new, volatile reality has begun, one where energy security, geopolitics, and economics are more intertwined than ever before. While China shielded itself, India became the next target. In August 2025, the US slapped a 25% tariff on Indian goods, punishing India for buying discounted Russian oil. India relied on cheap Russian crude to control inflation and support its vast population. The US demanded India choose between American trade and Russian energy. China seized the opportunity, deepening its own energy ties with Russia and rerouting oil tankers originally bound for India. This strengthened the China-Russia bloc and insulated China from global price shocks. The US tariffs marked a turning point. Oil trade was now divided along political lines. China and Russia built an alternative energy system, free from American control. The world split into camps, with oil as a tool for rewarding allies and punishing rivals. By summer 2025, the global oil market had fractured into rival blocs. On one side, Russia and China, forming a self-contained energy loop, attracting nations like Iran and Venezuela. Trade in this bloc bypassed the US dollar and relied on political agreements. On the other, the US and its allies relying on established producers and enforcing sanctions. Competition for friendly oil pushed up prices within the US-led bloc. A two-tiered market emerged: discounted oil for the Russia-China sphere, pricier oil for everyone else. Every tanker's voyage became a statement of allegiance. Neutrality was no longer an option. The global energy map was redrawn by diplomats, not geologists. The world became more unpredictable and more dangerous. India is caught in the middle of this great power struggle. For years it balanced ties with the US, Russia, and China, maintaining strategic autonomy. Now, US tariffs force India to choose anger Washington or lose cheap Russian oil. The US is a vital partner, but Russian oil is an economic lifeline. Abandoning Russian crude would mean higher prices, inflation, and social unrest. India tries to placate the US while clinging to Russian energy, a risky diplomatic dance. Every move is scrutinized by Washington, Moscow, and Beijing. In this new world, Neutrality is nearly impossible. India's choices will shape its future and the global order. In the era of energy as a weapon, the stakes have never been higher.